Joining us on Pirate Radio Live, the Hall of Famer himself from WNCT Channel 9 Sports. He is Double B, Brian Bailey. Bailey, how you doing, sir?
Not too bad. How are you?
I am good. I've got my gear on, ready to tag along with you tonight.
Bunch of jerks. Yes. Yeah, I like that. What year was that when they came out with that? Was that?
I think it was 19, maybe 2019.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Don, what was his name? Cherry.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Just something Cherry. In Canada, called the Canes a bunch of jerks, and they said, let's run.
And they ran with it. Yeah. And they ran with it big time. Yeah, they did that.
And in fact, my dad asked me recently, do they still do the thing after games where they
don't do it?
Yeah.
They still get together and clap. I don't think they do some of the antics that they did before.
Yeah, which is fine. Kind of do it and move on from it.
Yeah.
Now they're just trying to keep winning and win.
That's right, man.
Hoist the Stanley Cup, and off to a good start in this series with Washington, up 2-1 now after really a dominant effort on Saturday, and you'll be there tonight, right?
Yep, Zach Kaplan and myself will be there. It's always so much fun, and you know, we have to take care of business in Greenville first. So if there's anything going on with East Carolina or anything going on, anywhere else, the high school baseball and softball playoffs. But this Monday night, it's kind of quiet, and in fact, with the rain, it may be quiet all week for a lot of stuff. But looking forward to going to Lenovo Center tonight, and I get a chance to see some of my old friends. I saw Gibby, a couple weeks ago. I get a chance to see him again. We had him on today. Danny West is a guy who started with me. Great guy.
Josh Graham.
I haven't seen Josh. Josh and I have made amends, actually.
Good. I know he was there the other night. He actually talked to Blake Carroll for a moment. I'm glad to hear you and Josh are cool.
Well, the funny thing is, I never had anything bad. I mean, I just told him how I felt about some things, and then I was at a Duke game. My buddy Ken Hager gets me Duke Virginia tickets whenever they play, in Durham. So Melissa and I were there, and I saw him on the floor, and he's waving, and I thought he had to be waving to somebody else. So I ignored it. And then somebody said, "Man, you blew him off." And I said, "Man, I didn't think he was waving at me." So I told him, "Hey, pass it along." So yeah, we're all right.
Good deal. How about old Blake getting them fired up? So it was 0-0. Blake Harrell sounds the siren.
Yeah, the siren sounder.
Wake up and score a couple goals in that second period, but great effort the other night.
I sent him a text right after that. I said, "Man, you did great. You got him 2 goals." I think the lady actually had to tap him on the shoulder to tell him to stop.
Yeah. Well, I sent him a good luck kind of thing beforehand, because I've heard from folks that it's not the easiest thing to do.
Oh, really?
And you don't want to blow it or look stupid doing
that's
it.
True.
So, but I think
it's kind of a once in a lifetime, you would think, for most people. And some people probably get invited back, but for something like that, that's cool.
So Bailey, you're covering it obviously, but if you weren't, would you be watching, paying attention?
Oh yeah. We enjoy it. We watch it at the station. We're recording it to cut the highlights later. If I'm off, the other night I was off Saturday, and I watched the whole thing. You're just so involved in it, and so this is our state's team, and it seems like, as we've all talked about, we all have different NFL teams. We all have different rivalries.
And in Raleigh, you've got Carolina State
and Duke.
ECU.
Duke. Yeah.
They all come together and put on the red and black for the Hurricanes.
So I think that's really cool too, and those fans are just, and people pay so much money for those tickets. I just don't see how some people can afford to go to some of those games, but it's a good time now.
So how much has your 20 years ago, Brian Bailey, compared to now when it comes to hockey? Is it night and day? I mean,
it's probably night and day. I still don't understand all the little parts of it. I couldn't tell you strategy. I couldn't tell you,
Right.
But I think now when I hear icing, I know about what it is.
Yeah.
Back then, I thought somebody put ice on the glass or something.
Yeah. We got
cupcakes. No idea exactly. What are you going to ice? But it's much different, and I've enjoyed. Like I said, I've enjoyed going. We don't get a chance to go during the regular season all that much because of just how. But the Canes media people are just great for us.
Well, I know you asked Gibby on your show. Does he have any favorites? Have you been enough to pick out any guys yet?
I like Sebastian Aho, and I've had a chance to interview him a couple of times in the locker room. When you're in a locker room setting and you're with 13, 15, 20 other people, you kind of just yelling questions at, and they don't know who just to ask them. They hear something, they just answer it. But I always thought that he was good in the locker room.
Yeah.
And I can see where Jordan Martinook would be the same way that Gibby had talked about a little bit. And Rod Brindamore, I think that would be a fun one-on-one to get sometime. Yeah.
He seems I don't know, cliffish, but he's pretty intense.
Oh, he's definitely intense.
You might want to get him in the offseason.
Yeah, I was going to say that may be a best idea. But he's certainly intense. He was as a player, and now he is as a coach.
You talked about your Barry Bonds interaction last week on our show, and see, Ellerby had the one-on-one with Darryl Strawberry.
I saw
this
that.
week.
Yeah,
talked more about life, but talked a little baseball. But man, that was an awesome interview with Strawman there.
I remember watching Darryl Strawberry for the Tidewater Tides. The Tides, a AAA affiliate for the Mets at the time, and Strawberry came up and had a chance to watch him play a couple of times.
He had, not only was he good, but like a unique look, right? Like tall and skinny.
Oh yeah, tall and skinny.
You didn't see a lot of baseball players.
No, not at all. But he did have a unique look.
Yeah. Brian Bailey joining us. Got Canes and Caps coming up tonight. Canes trying to take a 3-1 series lead, and you got Pirate Baseball coming off a win over UTSA, a competitive series. They got 1 of 3 against the league's best, and again, I've been kind of counting down the days till the tournament here for a while, but still got some games to go. The game against Campbell probably won't get played,
right?
So they'll have 3 more to wrap up the regular season, and will they stay in Florida?
Yes, I think that the understanding that I have is that they'll stay in Florida because they'll play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I think they'll move Sunday. They'll move to Clearwater. And then they'll stay Monday. They'll have practice in Clearwater, depending on what seed they are, and they have no idea what seed they're going to be yet. I mean, it's just so jumbled right in there. And then they'll take their seeding, and then they'll find out which bracket they're in. The American tournament basically is 2 double elimination tournaments with a single game championship game. So we've talked about that forever, every year.
Yeah.
And I really thought, we keep hearing that the baseball coaches are going to change the format.
I know. Cliff
and they
talks
haven't.
about it every year.
And he should, because, I mean,
I thought he said there was some progress to that.
Well, we were down there one year, and they had the same format, and they had a tropical system that came in off the coast, and it was miserable weather. So they were trying to play the games early in the day, and it was just terrible. The weather was bad, and trying to get the games in, they were playing on different fields.
Yep.
I remember they were streaming the Pirate game, and it was through a fence.
Yep.
And because I called Mito when I told him, I said, "Man, you're not gonna wait. You can't wait to see this stream. It's literally through a fence." And so,
you could see the chain links.
Yeah. You could see them. You could see the chain links better than you could see the action.
Yeah.
But because like softball goes through single elimination, and their first 2 go all the way to the semifinals. Which I don't like, but
I like that. I think.
Well, I can see why they do it. After talking to Shane, I can see why they do it, and I agree with you. Yes, I like it better now, but I think when you're a 4 or 5 seed, and you're battling through there. It's a big disadvantage. But I see what he's saying and try to protect, which is what the baseball people should do.
There were some basketball tournaments like that this year. I think the Sun Belt had it, and it was the wackiest looking bracket you've ever seen because it went on forever, and finally you got to the number like 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 whatever seeds and down there at the end, but it puts a premium on the regular season, which I think for your 1 bid, 2 bid leagues is important to give those teams an advantage. So.
Yeah, and it really is, but I'm just surprised at baseball because a lot of times you go to Clearwater. Now, obviously this year the Pirates go to Clearwater and they have to win the tournament to go to the postseason, but some of those teams, I guess UTSA. They'll get an at-large, won't they? Or they're close.
I think they're locked in.
But other than them, and then if you're UTSA, like East Carolina, most years you don't want to use up all your pitching that week, and then you start regional play. So
for that reason too, it helps out the good teams. But
exactly.
I've seen. I haven't looked recently, but I looked a month ago, then a couple weeks ago, and saw UTSA as a number 2 at Texas. So they might be kind of locked into a spot there as a number 2.
Yeah,
which would be good for them. Brian Bailey joining us. We talked about covering the Canes, Bailey. The Hornets are different. I mean, they're in the state, but Charlotte is so much further away than Raleigh. Tonight you got the lottery, really a chance to change your entire franchise if they could get the number 1 pick, get Cooper Flagg, and who knows, maybe they turn into a winner. But would that be important for you, like covering the Hornets or putting them on TV more, or does it really matter if they're good or not?
What we've tried to do is my theory, and I haven't been, I've been lucky that no one above me has really come down and say you can't do it that way. My theory is, we build a sportscast in the wintertime, and we build it basically, whatever's ultra local, East Carolina, but we always try to put the Hurricanes and the Hornets in the sportscast, even if it's just one play sometimes, just a highlight to say, hey, the Hurricanes, we're in action. Try to do more with the Hurricanes because they win more. That happens. But for the Hornets, we try to say, hey, at least, one play or two plays to show the game story, in 20 seconds because they are a state's team. It's kind of like the Panthers. I don't know how many Panther fans there are in eastern North Carolina because most of them, were Redskin fans back in the day. But there are a lot of Panther fans, and we try to, make sure because it's our state's team. Yeah. I thought really we would cover the Panthers more when they came out in the mid-'90s, but we really – we basically do some, but it's hard to get to Charlotte, like you said. And they've cut how you can cover games now. You can't go on the field and shoot the games. You have to take a feed unless you're one of the home markets. And
that first year, did you go to Clemson at all?
I did one game. It's the only time I've ever been to Death Valley, but I did go to one game, and I still got the program from that game, and that was neat. That was a good time.
Brian Bailey joining us. Speaking of the NFL is king. Got the schedule release coming out this week, so that'll be in the news cycle, at least for what we do on the radio.
It'll be Dallas, Washington for Thanksgiving, probably.
You think so?
I think so. I think Washington's really good, and see what happens with the boys.
What do you think about George Pickens?
Well, it's got to help. I just hope you hear so many things out of Pittsburgh about attitude and that kind of thing.
Well, he's what you would call a knucklehead, Bailey.
Right. Oh, well, there's no doubt.
Elite talent.
But can he control his knuckleheadness?
No.
You don't think?
He can't. And that's the fun part about him. I love watching him because he's such a great player, but he'll get you a penalty. He'll, make a mistake. So.
Well, that's Schottenheimer's job, and Schotty has said that we're going to be more disciplined. That we're going to,
The first thing we do is bring in George Pickens.
I know.
Perfect.
Right.
No, he's a great player though.
Well,
you'll have fun with him, and then you'll be cussing him by the end of the game.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
That's it. No,
No, hey, I'm going to give the guy a chance. Give the guy a chance to see how he does, and I'm looking forward to it because he is a tremendous talent. But he reminds me like a Dez Bryant. I didn't like some of the stuff with Dez Bryant. Some people loved him. I just thought he was over the top. Terrell Owens same
wasn't
type
worth
thing.
the juice wasn't worth
that's what
the squeeze.
That's what you got to figure out. Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Michael Irvin's.
Now Michael Irvin was worth the squeeze. Yes, yeah. Michael Irvin was there.
Yeah. We got some big media news. I don't know. Have you seen this? Just coming down, or at least I saw it this morning. But Michael Jordan will be.
I just saw that
with the NBC basketball team.
Yeah,
I guess moving forward.
Yeah,
as the NBC, and man, I keep seeing and everybody has their heyday. For you, it probably wasn't the '90s. For me, it was just because of my age. But they would have the Bob Costas intro talking, and then the and the playoffs, and I was like, man, NBA on NBC. That's when it was awesome. So they're probably trying to bring some of that back, but very interesting to have Michael Jordan. He hasn't done hardly any media.
Yeah,
you don't see him much other than that Last Dance thing, really.
That is interesting, and I'm not sure how he's because somebody like that who has got so much going on. So much, investing here, investing there. How much is he going to be invested into the game as it is? Because that's going to take film work and, stuff like that. And
I would love it if he commented on everything comparative to him, and he just said, "Yeah, these guys aren't good." It would get kind of boring. But if he held everythody to his standard,
yeah.
What do you think about Anthony Edwards, man? Great player. Yeah, well, he's not me.
Yeah, he wouldn't have started for the Bulls.
We'd have had him behind Scotty and Horace Grant, maybe.
Yeah, he wouldn't have started. Yeah.
But interested to see how that goes. And we've seen, Saban has made the move to television, and Belichick did a whole lot with the Mannings and with McAfee before getting the job. So you're seeing these kind of big name legends get into the game. Brady, obviously, and he had some people like him, more people kind of didn't like his commentary. So we'll see how it goes for Jordan. I wonder where that payday is.
There's only one Michael Jordan.
Not that he needs the money,
right?
That's got to be a lot of money.
It's got to be. But that's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
Bailey will get that check one day.
No, Bailey won't. Bailey's on the back end of that career.
The back end.
But he's okay with it.
BB.
It's been a great run.
You said it on your show. Rain today, rain tomorrow, rain Wednesday.
Man.
So what's the we're not in danger of missing any high school baseball rounds, right? Do we have like a certain date to get it all in, or?
Well, supposedly they're supposed to get the scores have to be in by midnight Thursday, or the lower seed. Well, the higher seed advances, lower seed forfeits.
I hope it don't come to that.
But I think there is precedent where the North Carolina High School Athletic Association can say, okay, we're going to move the fourth round to Saturday,
right,
and give you guys a chance. But I don't know for sure if they would do that.
It might be a quick turnaround, but
they could play Thursday and Friday if Thursday's not too wet, or it could be Friday Saturday if it is too wet. So
yeah,
and you got places like Conley, the Hollywood Crossroads is basically a swamp. You went to school there,
yeah.
So we'll have to see if that thing dries out.
Well, I'll keep you up to date on all of that going on. Anything else we missed, Bailey? We're in a not great time of the sports year, but, man, there's a lot of good stuff going on. I've been enjoying
Looking forward to the schedule coming out Wednesday. The only thing I don't like about the schedule coming out is all the leaks.
Yeah.
Because the leaks that are official are fine, but the ones that aren't official and people saying, this
there will
and that.
be full NFL schedules out Wednesday afternoon that are all false.
Right.
So you got to be careful.
So you look at it and be like, man, that's a good schedule. And then you get your real schedule, and it's not so good.
There you go. All right, BB. Appreciate you joining us. Have fun tonight.
Sounds good. We'll try to bring home another win for those Canes.
Yes, sir.